Hello again, everybody, and welcome to The Happening. My name is George Shaft, and you are now in the second half where we talk about something that isn't Afghanistan for once. Amazing, I know, right? That's what I talked the entire first half about basically how the government collapsed like a house of cards. It's now under new management, and basically how the international sort of response has been. But let's go and move on swiftly to some other stories. I actually want to kind of go and mention something that isn't actually on the kind of show runs, but it's something that occurred today, and I want to sort of bring it up. Uh, it is a simple little thing in the Daily Mirror, and it was exclusive. HS2 East Leg set to be axed to save £40 billion in mockery of Johnson's level up pledge. I've made this is just a little aside, but I've made it clear many times that I am very, very in favor of HS2. HS2 is clearly a good thing to drive the engine of the British economy. Uh, I think that it would be, really, really convenient for and really connect the country better if we can get to different parts of the nation faster on a high speed rail, which is one of the cleanest ways of actually traveling, unless you count like walking. So, and I find all of the objections to HS2 either vapid or applicable to every railway that's ever been constructed ever. So that's just a little aside to that I've noticed. I am kind of, annoyed that this is being axed. But let's go now to the big story today. It is in Scotland. I've got the Guardian up for this, and it is titled, quote, SNP and Scottish Greens confirm power sharing deal in historic moment for the Greens. All right. What does it mean? So, the Scottish National Party and the Scottish Greens have confirmed a power sharing arrangement, ushering the Green Party into government for the first time in the UK, in a change designed to bolster the case for independence. Nicola Sturgeon said the agreement would make it impossible for the UK government to refuse a second referendum on independence, but environmental campaigners expressed disappointment that the text fell short of calling for an immediate end to oil and gas exploration. The SNP leader said the agreement was based on a spirit of cooperation and consensus building, and recognises that business as usual is not good enough. Basically, what happened was that in Holyrood, sort of the Scottish Parliament, there was a little while ago a sort of like an election, and it wasn't like they're kind of like falling short. The SNP was sort of by far the kind of biggest party, but to quote the Guardian, basically the agreement formalises the pro-independence arithmetic at Holyrood. After the SNP won 64 out of Holyrood's 129 seats in May's elections, leaving them one short of an overall majority. The addition of 7 Scottish Green seats will allow the Scottish Government to comfortably pass legislation, including a new independence referendum bill. This is the sort of story where you'd think, oh, George would probably like this, the Greens are doing okay, but I really am not. It's 2 secessionist parties working together, like in a time where, and the Greens should really know better. That's the thing that's kind of getting me. Like Greens, like they know they're the most recognition of the fact that the world has got an issue with this thing called climate change, and climate change is going to need like a worldwide international response. So clearly, then the sensible way of getting, an international coalition, consensus coalition on tackling climate change, according to the Scottish Greens, is to make new countries. If we have like more countries, meaning there's more potential avenues and personality clashes possible to cause a deadlock to prevent anything being done about climate change. It's like, what, really? That's the arithmetic? I find it especially annoying because because their whole argument is, oh, we're going to make a new independent country of Scotland, right? Okay. Scotland's got a huge part of its economy is based off the oil and gas extraction industries, which, as the article points out, some campaigners are kind of worried about because, the more oil we burn, the more we damage the atmosphere. It's a small matter, but it's kind of important. And it's like, okay, we're going to make now a new petrostate that will now be incredibly incentivized against doing anything on climate change. And that will somehow help with climate change? I just don't get it. I don't get it with the Scottish Greens. If you do, please write me a comment because I will read it eagerly. I just do not understand this. It breaks my brain. As for the Scottish National Party, it's like their reason to exist. It's like, oh, independence. And so from their point of view, like, they're now getting everything they want. They get to grab the Green Party MPs to like work with them and do everything that they can with basically zero repercussions. This is not a positive story, as you might be gleaning off my my tone of voice, the way I'm just kind of annoyed at this. Personally, I mean, I'm a member of the Labour Party. Until pretty recently in political history, Scotland was a basically all Labour country, which was kind of cool because, one of them became Prime Minister. He was called Gordon Brown, and he was, in my opinion, honestly, the best Prime Minister in a very long time, at the very least, since Harold Wilson, probably. I'd even go so far as to say that. Gordon Brown is the best Prime Minister since Harold Wilson. Like when the world economy collapsed, he went in and saved the world. And he was Scottish. And that was really cool. No? And now, no, it's not. It makes you sad. It makes you sad. Apart from that, I really don't have that much else to say to this story. Does it affect Westminster in any way? No. I mean, there was a poll that came out yesterday. Tories were down by margin of error. Labour was up 1%. Oh, wow, hooray. What huge differences. I'm looking forward to seeing all of that, reversed within the time it takes to snap my fingers. Oh, damn, I've now reversed those results. But what do you think? Because, there could be an argument you could make, you could maybe argue in some way that like, oh, but you see, the Greens and the SNP might be like a progressive alliance of some kind, and like they organize Scotland to be like a more lefty place. You could maybe argue that, in which case, maybe I could sit down and go, oh, yeah, you know what? No, maybe. But I really don't see it. I see nothing but bad things going on with this agreement. But as I said, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. And in the meantime, while you do so, I'm going to let you do so. Yeah, that's right. I, the gracious George Shaft, am going to allow you to write a comment. And some other people be doing some talking while that happens. So I'll catch you all again very, very soon.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me. Why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how